here's how I got on a plane with Robert Kiyosaki. What advice would you have for me to make money like you, hopefully someday?
You're doing good.
Well, I'm trying, but
No.
what are the next steps?
Well, you could be a pimp. You could good-looking kid. There's a million ways to financial heaven, and a billion ways to financial hell. And unfortunately, the gap between rich and poor is so wide today. Billions of people are going to financial hell. So being on this plane, hanging out with George Gammon, smartest thing you can do. Would you agree? Yeah. Smartest thing. It's who you hang out with.
Yeah, so then it goes down to how do you find those kinds of people? And so I guess I'm really the only one who could tell you how to, because I've done it. And it's not easy. It's ridiculously hard. I was reaching out to a few dozen people a week, asking to work for them for free, then saying I'd pay them. I had $20,000 saved up. I said, hey, I'll pay you $20,000 if I can work for you. Then I said, I'll pay you 10% of whatever I make for the rest of my life if I can work for you just to learn. And then that didn't work, so I got George Gammon's logo tattooed on my leg and took my first ever flight from Boston to Arizona to meet him, to shake his hand and say, what do I have to do to work for you? And you just have to get your foot in the door. And since then, now I'm flying with some of the most successful people in the entire world, and it's been the single greatest decision I've ever made.
You're flying with capitalists.
That's the goal.
Fuck. That's so cool. So I flew up with Robert and Ken and this guy Russ to Orlando at an event now, a conference that we are going to be at for the weekend. This is just incredible. The flight was so fun. We were just talking the entire time, me, Robert, Ken, and Russ. I was just shut up and listening. As I always say, just, you know nothing. You already know what you know, so just shut up and listen. And I was just listening to the entire flight. It was truly a remarkable experience when you're surrounded by those kinds of people. And one of the main takeaways that I got was Robert had a few books with Kiyosaki. He had, I think, 3 books with him. And at one point he was reading, and he doesn't just read to read. He had his highlighter out. He was highlighting the sentences that mattered. He would then write down notes after every single paragraph. He's avidly studying with the intent of learning and understanding and gaining the knowledge, as opposed to just saying that he reads a book. His goal is actually to learn and to be educated and to gain something from it, and then to be able to teach it back to other people. He was even just reading when we landed, we get fuel. We were flying from Scottsdale to Orlando. We stopped in Dallas, and he got like an Economics Times little magazine that they had. And even when he was reading that, he was deeply highlighting it. He was deeply annotating it, and then he was talking about it afterwards with the goal of understanding. I mean, imagine that you're 80 years old, you have $1 billion or whatever the hell he has, and when you're doing these things, you're just trying to constantly better yourself and learn, and then you're talking about that with your friends. I mean, it is no wonder why these types of people have so much money. When you compare what these people talk about on their free time, money, business deals that they're looking at, how they're thinking about the economy, what they're seeing, how they think they can improve what they're doing in every single aspect of their life, compared to friends who are talking about the football game, the basketball game, what artists are doing, what other people are doing, or what drama, like, you know, the useless high school shit that you talk about. These people, they are talking about things that actually make a difference and matter to their life. And it was really just, I mean, my life is insane. It's so cool. I didn't really go into it too much on the plane, because they were saying, Josh, how the hell are you on this plane with us? That's what basically what the question that they asked me. And then they just threw up the camera. But before that, what I was saying was, it is very, very difficult to get in this position. I mean, this is the position that everyone wants to be in, to be in these circles. And I think it's just giving with unlimited value at all times, never expecting anything in return. I was just, when I first initially started to make a tiny bit of money, I think if you've been watching for a little bit, you know, and I think I said it in that video with Robert, I was reaching out to dozens of people per week, asking them to work for him for free. I was saying I'd pay people to work for him. I said I'd pay people a percentage of whatever I make for the rest of my life if I could work for them. Then I eventually just got a tattoo of George's logo on my leg, and he was the main person I wanted to work for, no matter what. Like, he was the number one person, and he was the person I ended up working for. Like, he was the dream person to work for, and that was the person I got, which is astounding in and of itself. But then I started to provide value for other people, and I saw what they needed. I was not interested in YouTube at all. I was interested in macroeconomics and the economy. That's honestly what my hobby was. But I wanted to be able to talk to these other people, the people like Robert, people like Ken, all of these people that I really, really admired and look up to. I wanted to be able to talk to them. And the way I did that is I got really good at growing their YouTube channels. Because guess what? Now I hang out with Ken every single day. I fly everywhere with him because I want to learn how to grow a business, which I'm doing right now. I mainly scale my business at this point. But I realized what they needed value on, and everyone had the same problem, or not the same problem, but everyone will had the same desire. They wanted to get more views on social media because if they could, they could. Their business would grow, their brand would grow. There's only benefits, and so I got really good at helping them grow to where I've over 10x Ken's channel and a few months of working with him, and now he's telling everyone about that. So now everyone was trying to work with me. Robert actually asked me, "Hey, Jay, do you want to work with me?" uh, and so that's what happens when you do good work. But you are finding something that other people deem as valuable. These people saw YouTube as valuable. So I freaking learned it. And I got really good at it to where I'm not going to say I'm incredible, but I'm good enough to where they are willing to pay me or at least provide me with a ton of opportunities because of the value and the services that I can provide for them. So it that's really the number one thing. You have to have something that other people want. And if you're young, you have certain advantages over older, more successful people. So that's what I'm figuring out. But I'm going to go to bed because tomorrow's a busy day. This weekend is just going to be ridiculous. Then I'm moving to Colombia. I mean, man, life is good. Life is good. Thank you.